Everybody, good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Let's see. Pop this over. Oh, cool. Levers, huh? There we go. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. You know, I make predictions. Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I don't. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining. Not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instruments at all. If you desire somebody to tell you what buttons to push, what to trade, how to trade it, well, it's not what I do. So you need to hire and consult a financial advisor. As a reminder, that's not what I do. So, you're going to have to find somebody that can help you if you need help. Speaking of that, past month doing pretty darn good in the 50K challenge account. Not too shabby right there. As I say, that's 10,000 bucks up. The goal is to get 50,000 a month consistently. And for those of you that thought this was just going to be a slow grind, I am not laying down on the job for this one. So, Don, Rob, Ivan, Hugh, morning, everybody. Channel members Darren, Craig, Jerry, Scott, Kevin, Will, Arturo, Sergio, good to see you. Gary, General Rush, sir, good to see you. Mad Cliff, Frank, Joseph, Ryan, Mark, Nancy, Ted, Svinborn, Aki, JB, Jason, Rungamer, Kay, good to see everybody. Welcome to the show on this Monday after the 4th of July. So, not doing too bad right here. And we'll see what happens, I guess. So, looking at the retail trading, check this out. Cumulative net retail purchases by calendar year, right here. Look at this. So far this year, we're on pace to be a pretty big. I mean, that was the best start to a year we've had in 10, 11 years as far as retail purchases go. So retail really jumping all in the stock market here. Now, I do warn, usually retail traders are considered the dumb money. And if retail is going all in, I mean, look what happened here. 2022 was a big down year. Now, we might, we're at all-time highs, so far not a bad plan. If you're all in, be careful. Know when to cut them. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. We may push things to irrational levels, but be careful. We might see a big pullback. Retail, usually not the big winner. Now, in 2025, right here, ETFs hadn't been as popular. Equity ETFs, really not as popular. So we're seeing all those leveraged and sector ETFs are where the popularity is. And the single stock plays, that's where the big money's been flowing. People have been playing into single stocks for retail. This is retail flows right here and right here. Net inflows, biggest winner, NVIDIA. Number 2, Tesla. Despite it taking a hit this morning. 270 downside. Number 3, SPY. Number 4, Palantir. Number 5, QQQ. And TQQQ, that's kind of scary, is number 6. Google. And it's combining Google and, GOOG and the Class A and Class C shares right there. For number 7, AMD. Number 8. It's been pretty good, but needs a pullback. Amazon hasn't really been doing much, actually. And Apple hasn't really been doing much for 9 and 10. SOXL, that's a dangerous leveraged ETF right there. TSLL, another. Hey, I mean, people jumping in with us, right? We're seeing Ford down here. I wouldn't touch that right now. SQQQ. Interesting. Short QQQ. Wait. Jump into play, I guess. IBIT right there. That's Bitcoin, the BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, making number 16. Robinhood, big winner this year so far. I was in it. Now I'm out of it. SGov. That's interesting. SGov making the list. Then Meta and SMCI. Overall, look at that. Record purchases right there. Pretty wild. Look at this. Throwing it up a different way. Retail portfolio. How we're doing. If you're just looking at all retail, we're up about 7.6%. If you're heavy in Qs, you're up 10%. You're in the SPYs, you're up 2%. Yeah. I guess you're outperforming, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. I don't have necessarily what all this is. Start of 2025, and that's more the same on that one. I just brought a bunch of these charts out of this article. This one I thought was very interesting. Right here shows you these are the most popular tickers. Right here, top self-directed retail portfolio holdings. Right here. If all right, why do we pay attention to XYZ? Well, here's the tops right here. So Nvidia, and people have added 1.5% of Nvidia. So what could possibly go wrong there, right? Asset performance up 17%, so it's pretty good. Now, Apple, people, start of 25 to now, people have been lightening up almost 2%, down like 2% less Apple. So Apple's been underperforming by almost the same amount as Nvidia's been up. SPY just kind of holding its own there. Tesla actually down 3%, 3.3%. So we've seen a lot of people kind of flushing that one out. It's been down 21% as of the first half. QQQ holding its own there. Meta platforms. I find this very fascinating right here. Like, this is all of us right here. All of the retail trading. Like, what's the exposure? Netflix, look at this. Winner, chicken dinner. I know Rongamer got a nice big fat piece of that one. Up 50%. But retail not really paying attention here. That was kind of interesting. You got Palantir down here. Retail not really adding exposure, but up 80% this year right there. And Carvana down here up 65%. Retail not really paying attention much to that one. AT&T up 27%, but that does not look like a big breakout chart to me right now. A lot of the Mag 7s on here. Microsoft actually performing 18%, but not nearly the favor as Nvidia. So it's kind of interesting the way these are going. Now, what do retail holders hold the most percentage-wise of? Look at this. This is an interesting thing here. So as far as total kind of outstanding shares, retail traders hold a large chunk of Wolf and Cipher, H-Band, Key, Valley National Bank Corp, BlackBerry, Ford, American Airlines. Remember, that's the one major airline that I'm negative on, yet retail really going after it there. BT, I have some shares of that myself. VOR, LCID, maybe they can pull it out. HL, ADT, SRFM, CLF, Cleveland Cliffs. Well, that one's all right. Big Bear AI. I've seen some people making some money on that one. Plug, Riot Platforms. I find it interesting that Riot's higher up in here than Mara and CleanSpark. Snap on here. AMCR. So these are retail heavy. Like this TeraWolf, the heaviest retail right there. I find this list interesting. And this is from Bloomberg right here. So, and then the bigger list, and we can't even read that. Cool. Yeah. There's a bigger list, and I'll have to try to figure out if I can get that. That's not all blurry. Let me see. Let me click back on the find the article really quickly and see if I can click it and get it. Actually, not tiny. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Paste and go. There we go. I look at all these. Like these are. There's a whole big list here. We got net retail purchases, 5 days. Change in retail turnover. Nike, big change in retail turnover. MU, big change in retail turnover. FedEx. So we're seeing a lot of these get traded a lot. And TeraWolf hasn't really been traded a lot, but retail, high exposure. This is an interesting list, I think, right here. Yeah, QS, QuantumScape. So a lot of the stocks that you see people talking about and trading, like they're popular for a reason. And they may or may not go anywhere, but typically you can make your money going where people, where the stocks are moving, you can make the money. Notably, Avcent out here, Rocket Lab, one of my favorites right now. Not really seeing that at all on here, but it's been a pretty big winner for me. Might even have some long-term potential. Anyway, make of it what you will. So look at the S&P down a little bit this morning. If anybody didn't expect a pullback after that rip, well, guess what? We're going to pull back a little bit probably. Now, we are still set for that bigger upside target. Still set for it. Still, lower low. So this potential can be complete with that lower low. That can be truncated right there. Although I do expect Tesla to come on down right there. Right there in that 270 zone. See if it flushes down or if it just recovers here. Could just recover and go. But I kind of expect it to finish that move up right there. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. I do expect it to finish up. I do. So like I said, we're still gunning for 63, 64, 63, 65. Still on the path to get there. Can take a little while. Like that doesn't have to play out today, doesn't have to play out tomorrow, doesn't even have to play out this week. Doesn't have to play out this month. But we're probably going to go up here before we break down below the low that we made way back here in April. S5TW. Stock's about the 20-day hanging out at the top. Lower high so far. We may ramp this up, make a higher high up above 90. S5FI did spike a higher high. Kind of expect this to push on out to 90 also. A lot of extreme moves, we see that push on out to 90 or in the vicinity of 90 anyway. S5TH. And we're just kind of hanging. Pushing up. Actually, this would be really interesting if we just push all three of these up above 80. That would set up a potential top right there. So looking back at the ES futures overnight action, kind of ground that. Been grinding this 15-minute roadmap line all night long. All night long. we did have some action. You know, if we came down on the 4th, if you didn't come see me on the 4th, I was discussing the fact that, you know, we were kind of down here, despite Tesla dragging the market down a little bit. We're actually above the lows we made on the 4th. Kind of bouncing off the 618 here. Second attempt here, higher low here. See what we do here. If we can maintain a higher low again, we're set up for probably in the next day or so 63.41 on futures. Remember, our futures run a little bit above the actual cash index. And if you're unfamiliar with that, do my little math thing here. Jump up to the daily. Here you go. Every time we get a new contract on ES, we start out with about 50, 60 bucks difference between ES. And as we get to expiration, we bring it down close to zero, and then we ramp it back up to 50, 60 bucks. Sometimes a little spicier, 70 bucks back here. And right now we started out about 53 bucks, and we'll drift it off as we get down to expiration in September. And then we'll roll over to the December contract. So right now we're running roughly 49 bucks richer on ES over S&P cash index. And that varies, it does vary a little bit. You get, why do you have these spikes? It's because overnight action creates these divergences. But the line that comes between them is really we have this little line that's right through there. That's the curve. That's the decay curve. And you can see that on kind of, I guess not really evident right here. The resolution's too big. But we do see that decay come back in every month, or every 3 months, I guess. So still got some choppy action here, expecting a grind higher. I'll take the axe off so it's not in the way here. So just looking at this little pullback, probably heading on up to 63.41 if we can break through the 618 right there at 63.12. In queue. Same kind of chart here. Same sort of price action. Not really seeing any divergence here. Did pop that 618 right here. Get a little more down pressure from Tesla being down right here. Still an uptrend of lows. Still upward pressure. If we start breaking down, check the 30 minutes. It's just right below us. And then the 1 hour, a little bit further down. It was back here on the 2nd, last Wednesday when we hit it. And then 4 hour, we haven't really been down there since April. So we might be due a trip down to the 4 hour before we can push on out. Russell, as I've talked about, if we start breaking down here, things can get really spicy really quick. We did come all the way up to the top of this resistance band zone thing I've been talking about, this danger zone. If we turn down here, things can get spicy. If we actually break out, well, we could go on and make a higher high and just throw it in the face. Now, that was not a very clear three-wave correction, so it does make me wonder if we're going down or if we're not. This looks more impulsive here. This not really clear. No real pullbacks, so not really clear on subwaves. The market can be irrational, push everything out of proportions, and then get the continuation. I'm still sitting on my September short. Not changing that at all right now. Oil back into the roadmap line as I predicted. If we break through, watch for $90 to $100 on the upside. Now, if we hold the 618 retrace here, if we pop through and hit that 618, it could set up that trip down to 50 So we still got to thread this needle. We still got to get through this prior high and this 618 resistance zone there to take oil up to the 90 to 100 area. So we are below the roadmap line. That is downward pressure. This might be the operative path. Talked about that for a long time. Got the giant target down there. Had it on there for months. We might finally flush down there. And then do we get hot war round 2 with Iran, Israel, Middle East stuff? And that shoots us up here. That could be pretty crazy. We have the false calm. This one, well, we didn't get the initial drop as deep as I thought we would here. Kind of retracing, holding that. Do we get the push on down? Be careful on gold. I do have a downward bias for a correction right now. My voice is cracking a little bit. That's awesome. Silver looks like it needs a pullback like this. Grinding in that area, need to pull back. If we get a pullback in that zone, I would believe that gold and silver might be set for next run higher. If we don't get a pullback in the zone, probably not going to take the opportunity to buy anything. I'm a trend pullback continuation trader. That's what I look for. That's all my patterns. Trend, pullback. Usually when I get in, pullbacks, and then continuation. That's where we make the money. If we don't get the pullback, I'm not chasing it. There's plenty of other stuff I can trade. Bitcoin trying its darndest to break out here. Grinding, grinding, grinding. Talked about this quite a bit on Friday. If you missed the crypto special, it's recorded. It's in the history on the channel. Just go check it out. It's got a big Bitcoin with 2 statues of liberty, one in red, one in blue. Watch the video. I talked quite a bit about the crypto industry and why I think that Bitcoin's the big winner this cycle and probably not any other altcoins. Maybe not. We'll see. Ethereum definitely lagging behind here. Probably needs that first move, second move, third move down situation to a lower low. Find support and then potentially get much bigger move higher. Potential. Now, if Bitcoin just rips, maybe it drags Ethereum with it. Could be deep enough. Got close. We'll see. Not ultra bullish on Ethereum. Again, I went and talked about it pretty in depth here. This has the potential to break down and flush below 1,000. Has the chart pattern, has the setup. Trend, pullback, continuation. Continuation right now, the probability is for going further down. Be careful. Being heavy Ethereum. NKD, not breaking out, not breaking down, just hovering right below top of the box. If we actually can break out, this can put upward pressure on everything. This is global liquidity indicator. Japanese stock market futures. Global liquidity moving higher. Take most assets with it, especially in the United States. Bitcoin, Ethereum, big tech, S&P, probably everything benefit from a breakout on this chart right here. People borrow money yen, take it and roll it into higher returning assets, which is typically U.S. assets, U.S. stock market, big tech, Bitcoin. Roll it into that stuff. Make money. Take that money. Borrow more yen. Add, rinse, repeat. It's called the carry trade. Kind of blew out a little bit back here. Round 2 back here. Now we're set to, this correction potentially done and ready to go higher again. Dollar. Bunch of hit pieces on mainstream financial media about the dollar. Not sure what's going on, but lower dollar is good for the U.S. selling goods to other countries. All right. U.S. companies selling goods internationally, lower dollar is good. Now, lower dollar for U.S. consumers buying goods from other countries, lower dollar, bad. So take it the way you want. Like, we're kind of in the middle here. Worst start to the year. Well, we also had a crazy big up, and we needed a big correction. This correction potentially done. First move down, retrace. Second move down, potentially done here. If we can push back above the roadmap line, we may go up here. And that strong dollar, it can hurt international trade for U.S. companies selling things to other countries. But as far as us buying things from the rest of the world, strong dollar can help. So, but also, if the dollar goes up a lot, all that foreign investment, all the land that's been purchased, all the housing that's been purchased by foreign investors, dollar just got really strong. They just made a crap ton of money. They sell out. Could cause unintended consequences, I guess you might say. So looking at the Mag 7 stuff, Mag 7 list, which is start with Apple, probably come on up into the resistance here. And still has that first move down, second move down potential. Hadn't really voided that off the chart yet. The market can keep riding higher, even up to here, and still get that bigger downside. Very cautious here. Amazon pushing the limit here. If we actually break out through this, you can see that upside target 254 right there. Prime Day coming up tomorrow, I think it is. It's Prime Day. But lately, the last several Prime Days, they have not released the numbers. So it used to be when they get done with the Prime Day, they'd release the numbers and everybody get excited and the stock would go crazy. But last few, I don't know. Hadn't done that. Google, first move down. Hanging in this resistance. Could go up to this resistance. Big gap down right there. So it might rally up to the bottom of the gap and get the second move down. Be careful. It's not a bullish chart. Meta rejected the breakout. First move down, second move down potential. Microsoft grinding on up. 508 potential. Nvidia 164, potentially even 176 on the upside potential there. Kind of broke the head and shoulders, so go ahead and take that off the chart. Kind of glad it rejected the head and shoulders. Didn't really want to flush that down right now. Save this, close that. Tesla. Salah. As I kind of started out saying, I expect this to low it up right here. Already turning red. Right down in there. Around 270, maybe even 265. Kind of expect it to hold there. If we start getting below that, that opens the door for the bigger potential here, though. This is the scary part. This bigger first move down, second move down potential opens the door for that if we get below, say, 240. Right now, if we hold, big upside potential. And what's funny, like I thought deliveries were going to be the thing that pushed us lower. And the mainstream media is like saying it's because some sort of fake filing about a new political party is the reason this is down. Whatever. Whatever. I had this on the chart for a couple weeks now. We could potentially do this. See what happens. See what happens. It sets up a measured bounce, and then we can go higher from there. We do have earnings coming up out here on the 23rd. What's that? 2 more weeks? 2 weeks and 2 days. So that should be an interesting. I mean, most of the time we make bearish moves on earnings, but before he beat down and corrected, sometimes we get big bullish moves on earnings. Like this one over here. So if we complete this correction before earnings, could be a big bullish move out of earnings. Interesting opportunity. I am long Tesla, so ARTO, complete dumpster fire, piece of crap, biotech, don't touch it. WNS. So this is all the things moving $2 or more up in the pre-markets. For gainers, we'll get to the decliners here in a minute. That was things moving $2 or more down in the pre-market. That at targets, not much left there. NVMI. 314 upside. MOH. Oh, look at that. Hitting the downside. So we want to see this hold support in this zone right here. Turn back up. If it does, this could get really spicy really quickly. I like that. Charts. MRK looking strong. Potentially bottomed out here. We can see this pop pretty good. Check on Rocket Lab. I did sell 39 strikes for this Friday. Against my shares. Bought those shares here, 25. Let's see what happens. I got called out on Merck and DJT. DJT back up in the 19. Nice. This may have been the bottom here. Maybe doing the measured balance. This could take it right on up in there. Rocket Lab. Just grinding. Circle. Be careful. This can come back down. STRF. These. It looks like. So for those of you trading MSTR, it looks like these preferred shares are where the money's going. It's got a 10% right there. It's also an 8% one, I think it is, or maybe it's a 7%. STRK, 8%, yeah. That's a Series A, and then this one, Series A with a 10%. This preferred stock is rocking and rolling compared to the lackluster performance we're seeing right here. So money flowing into MicroStrategy is flowing into those preferred shares. So if you want to, it's like, well, what's your target? I don't got one. There's no pullback to target off of. So, but these definitely outperforming. APGE. Biotech. STZ. That might be. Did we make? We made a lower low, so this could be the bottom here. Do have the downtrend highs. If we break through that, we could be looking up at 400. Not too shabby. Not convinced yet. Need to be above the roadmap line, but not a bad potential. Reverse split. Tesla short daily. Be careful. KALV. Just chopping sideways. Not touching it. RGC. Another biotech. TSLQ. Another short Tesla. SONN. Nice little pop there. I wouldn't touch it. Biotech. BMNR. I'm just hunting for things that might be opportunities to trade. Bitmine Emerging Technologies. Reverse split. Danger list. I wouldn't touch it. BGL. Blue Gold Limited. That is a bubble pattern chart. It's probably going to come back down with some sort of crazy violence at some point. Be careful. ASML. So I don't know if y'all saw the FBI warning over the weekend about retail trader scams. There is a 300% rise in retail trader scams in the last couple of weeks. So be careful if you get text messages, Telegram messages, Discord messages, any messaging platform, Facebook messages. Be careful if you get messages trying to tip you off to some sort of investment with hot potential to do something like one of these bubble charts right here. There's a 300% rise in people getting caught in this stuff and then riding it right back down. So be careful out there. Pump and dumps. Stick to the good stuff. Steaks and sparklers. As they say on Joe Dirt. Ring gold. Royal gold, excuse me. Down to the roadmap line. That has a nice bounce potential. Get back through the 618. Could be looking at 197 to 100. CRWD. Probably going to come back to the roadmap line. That hit targets. Core weave. Be careful. We're just grinding right under that resistance. May come back down to a further fib line support. Korea 3x bull. This might be played out. Watch for the retrace. Could be pretty violent. Toyota Motors, still grinding in here. If we can hold this support right here, sets up the bigger upside, but we need to break through the roadmap line and prove that we're going to hold it, not just fold it to lower levels. Jasper Therapeutics. Biotech, not touching it. I mean, that's new lows. Dangerous. Reverse split. Dangerous. You can lose your money. This is what I'm talking about right here. Reverse splits. This is a warning. These are not bullish indications right here. Stock may go up, but then may come down to, may go down to zero, right? They're going to have to, if they go back below $1, they're going to have to reverse split again, try to keep this thing listed. It's dangerous. Leverage, leverage, leverage. Palladium might be set for the pop out to 120. TSM still on the target for 245. Boil. I expect natural gas to not be super awesome. Nugget, watch for that retrace right there. Roblox. Dang. I think it's probably gunning for a new high. Bigger picture, that pullback. Potential to 184, I guess, but anything to the left of this lower low doesn't really mean anything. This price action start out here, not really bullish. So trend is down, and as long as we maintain below that high right there, this can still push down to a lower low. Why? Things start out corrective. This move in here, kind of a watermelon seed squeeze. This is a pop out of it. So somewhere, somehow, like A, B, C, D, E, pop. And I would be very careful here. This can return back down and make a lower low. Cores. Taking a step back. They say they're not going to accept a buyout from CoreWeave. CoreWeave trying to buy CoreZ. And oh, announce the buyout price. Newly issued shares, CoreWeave. The deal represents a value of $20. That's what I thought. I told my copywriter, I told him that I thought the deal would go through at 20. It's interesting, though, that it took a step back to 14. So 20 is the cap at this point. 20 and 40. 2040. CoreWeave is the one buying it. That's why I was taking a step back. Interesting. AMAT. We can get through this resistance zone. 283 up here. And another leverage. GDS. If we can get through the 618. Right at it. We get through it. 61 on the upside. Upstarts. Set for rally up to 114. More leverage. Be careful on leverage. Elf Beauty. This one's on my naughty list right here. Sitting at that resistance. If we get through 275, could be the upside. Another leverage on NVIDIA. So things that had setups for today. For those of you that stuck around, here's actionable plays. Entry today. There's the high, there's the low. 39.85 potential. Right there. Doesn't have no reports, so we just rely on the 75% historical across thousands of them. AutoZone. This one's probably going to do it. This one just grinds and grinds higher right here. 39.77. Crazy. I mean, that's like $200 upside right there. BR. Kicked off back here, but we have new potential entry. That high, this low. Kicking off right here. 248, possibly 252 for the bigger picture. CBZ. Nice numbers on this one. There's the entry, 77.75 targets. 15 trades, 93, 8.8. That's, these numbers don't really mean anything with 15 total trades. That's not a statistical population, but DAL kicking off. Here's the high, here's the low. 53, 54 upside potential. ESAB. Here's the high, here's the low. Broke above. Look for 135 on the upside. It's already in the trade back here. So 135. ESCA. These are just high probability patterns here. Trend, pullback, continuation. Not much of a trend coming into this, so not sure. That's rejecting a little bit. 1646 on the upside. EVCM. Here's the high, here's the low. Broke above 1118 or 1181, excuse me. For solar, nice. It's got a 3-wave retrace right there. It's potential new trend, pullback, continuation. At 208, 209, conservative target, more aggressive target, 245. Not bad on that one. Does have a history of losing, though, so be very careful if you're in it or get in it. GT. Goodyear tire and rubber. Here's the high, here's the low. Pushing up through 1232. Some of these are actually good today. Like, these look pretty strong. This pullback came up shy of the target, so this one's still in the trade from back here, but this high, this low sets up a 3166 target for Honda. IHG. Got this high, we got this low, we got that entry, 126.72. Not the best statistics. MasterCard, yeah, I already knew that one. Set up for 605, 600 from back here, and 605 from this pullback. So this big pullback back here, 600. This one right here, 605. Visa has the same sort of thing. Maxin, I think the split messed with that one. Roper Technology. Here's the high, here's the low. It's already in it from back here. Lower target, 588. Bigger target, 606. Sunrun. Solar might be taking a run here. We got two solar stocks on here. 1496. Now, with that big, bold, beautiful bill and the sunsetting of all this, I think what's happening here. So with the sunsetting of the solar tax credit, you get 30% credit off your taxes. I know because I've been installing some solar stuff. That's ending with this new big, bold, beautiful bull crap at the end of the year. So everything that was planned is going to get pulled forward into this next 6 months right here. Tesla sales, the EV credit ends September 30th. So we may see Tesla sales get pulled forward. We may see all sorts of stuff. So I think the big, bold, beautiful bill is what people are down on Tesla for. Who cares about the EV credit thing? That's what I think it's down for, not for any politics crap, but it's more fun to talk about the politics crap. But we may see all sorts of sales get pulled forward. Solar investments. There's even like a franchise excise tax thing. F&E tax that's getting put on solar projects that happen after the end of the year. So those projects may get pushed up too. So things could get interesting in the solar arena just because of this big, bold, beautiful build thing. Snap-on. One of Rongamer's favorite tool suppliers. Just joking, dude. Might see this upside right there. 337. That's unintended consequences of the big, bold, beautiful bills. We may see solar actually perform for a few months as things get pulled forward. Projects and investments, because that subsidy is going away. So free government money, baby. Got to get it while the getting's good. 1387. TGNA. $18.13. And I'm not seeing anything that I'm like, whoo, I'm going to get my money involved. United States Lime and Minerals. Upside, downside. And 109 on that one. This one, I don't see much to get involved in, but this one, check plus. Over 80, check plus. Over 2, check plus. If you wanted to get in one, that's probably going to work out. There you go, that one right there. And checking in on McDonald's. Potentially coming back up a little bit. WC. Grinding the roadmap line. PGR. And pushing down a little bit. UNH. That one's just kind of dead. Looks like that needs one more flush to me. I think this is going to do one more big down. And then we can go up. All right, everybody. Bias for the day. Today, I don't know. I mean, we may just grind sideways a little bit, but I still expect we're going higher. This is the target for the next few days. My bias is still up. Even if we get a pullback, back down, support down here and up. Now, doesn't mean we can't come back down to the roadmap line and still go up. But bias is up for now. Be careful out there. Have a great day. We'll be back again tomorrow. 9:15 tomorrow. Have a great